welcome everybody. You're ready to go. You can see comms team went all out, have a nice last format. Stealing decor from their own houses. So thanks for that. Thanks for everybody for coming out today, and anybody online watching. It's great to see you. I think you might know me by now, Gail Hunt, President and CEO of RVH. This is a great organization that you're all at. And so this is, for me, the second in-person RVH Town Hall, so I'm pretty excited about being here today. The first one was the accreditation. I had to think about that one myself, like when do we have an in-person town hall? But it was that. And we're live streaming as well, and we'll post it up after the recording. And also, at my request, you can ask questions in live person as well, random questions, whatever you want, online and in person, we will answer. Well, we'll try to answer them. We might not know all the answers, but so this is a more casual and conversational setup the team has for us today. So hopefully you like it. We have a microphone set up in the middle of the room somewhere. Oh, no, you're going to get past it. It's a traveling microphone. So if you have any opportunity for questions, just so people online can hear your questions as well. So feel free to grab the microphone, they'll bring it over to you once we've sort of wrapped up the interview portion of this. And we'll also monitor the chat, and comms will let me know whatever questions we have, and we'll try to answer those. So hopefully you enjoy, and let's get started. So February was a really busy month for Team RVH. You know, a few things happened here. We started out the month with a very successful accreditation cycle with a preliminary standing of 99.4%. Go team, go. So we are expecting to get the formal notification imminently. That should come soon. And you recall, some of you may have heard already, that the surveyor team leader, Richard Bedard, said that one of RVH's strengths is the can-do attitude of Team RVH. We felt it as soon as we entered this building, it was palpable. And he added, your strength is your people. And I can tell you that I felt that the first time I walked into RVH as well. So it is palatable. So a sincere congratulations to all of you, because you're the ones that did the work. So thank you very much. In addition to accreditation, the hospital has been full of activity with the ongoing renovations in the MDRD and the start of the construction in the imaging to house our new PET CT scanner. It's going to arrive by the end of the month. And it will be gathering itself at the gathering place. So you're going to see it stored there until its permanent home and the imaging is ready. So there'll be a large object in the lobby that you'll notice when eventually. We were very excited. As you know, we are screaming for space here, and that's no different. We're very excited about this life-saving technology. It's going to detect diseases earlier when they're easier to treat, and allowing physicians to prescribe more effective, highly targeted treatments. And I know for you on the front line that, you know, you're dealing with patients that have to travel far or can't access a PET CT. This is going to make a big difference just in those conversations that you're having with those patients. So just so you know, the whole senior team is always advocating for equipment, technology, and space. There's discussions that we take place every day with the provincial and municipal governments to share the great work that Team RVH does and ensure they understand the dire need for investment that we need in our facility in this regional healthcare system. So the whole team is always, you know, sometimes you may wonder what we're out there doing. A lot of our work is advocacy and trying to move the needle on things that we need here at RVH. So, but before we get started, we just also celebrated Black History Month with one of our most successful campaigns to date. Thank you for those who participated in the contest or attended the listening rooms. So before we start our first interview, I'd like Megan Ellis, our Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging, to announce the winner of Black History Month contest. Megan?
Thank you. Thank you, Gail. So thank you everybody for participating in our Black History Month activities, our listening rooms. We did a lot of learning about past and present heroes here in Canada. So we did have a contest, a draw for those who participated in some of this trivia. So I would like to invite Max Lounsbury to the stage. Thank you, Max. So Max is a registered nurse with the Clinical Trials in the Cancer Center. And so thank you for participating. I invite you to continue this journey of learning. I don't know if I can do this without dropping something, but we have a book here that is an award-winning book that talks about culture, history, stories, and one of my favorites, food. So there's recipes, Caribbean fare, so recipes for all occasions and beverages. So I hope you enjoy, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Megan, and congratulations, Maxwell. I'm sure it was disappointing you didn't even get to open your own prize. Megan just stole that away from you. So I'd like to welcome our very first guest on this new Gale Talk show, who also tried to convince me that it was going to be like an Ellen DeGeneres format and I would have to dance my way. And Donna has threatened to have my mic must be going off here. So Jason Raynor, our Vice President of Strategy, Stakeholder Relations and Communications. Can you give me a mic? Hi.
How's the mic check? Good?
Yeah, your mic check's working. So as you know, Jason's one of the newer members of our senior team. One more to go to start in a few weeks. So we're glad to have you with us today.
Thank you.
It's like I almost think I've seen you already today. So you joined RVH at the beginning of the year. You've been busy walking the halls, getting lost, visiting departments, attending huddles, chauffeuring me around to different provincial and municipal meetings, which I've learned actually from the senior team is everybody is so helpful, offering me rides all the time, and I thought it was like, oh, it's so nice because I don't know my way around Barrie that well, but it's because you trap me in the vehicle to ask all the things that they want.
It works really well, actually.
So Leanne had me last week, and there was a fight over who got me for the car ride, and I thought I was popular, but it's only because you want stuff. So
you're just important, Gail. We want to make sure you get there,
That's
on
right.
time.
Yeah. Okay. So for those who haven't had an opportunity to meet you yet, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, yeah, just happy to be here. So I'm a dad. I have two young boys, one who's about to turn 8, Ethan, and one who's 3.5, Spencer. I'm a lawyer by background, new to the hospital sector, spent most of my career as a lawyer first and then into the municipal sector. So know everything there is to know about potholes and libraries and opioid crisis and other kinds of social service side. When I was the CAO, Chief Administrative Officer in Windsor, we had a long-term care home, a 240 bed long-term care home, and significant challenges around the opioid crisis. So I've got a good sense of sort of the broad spectrum of social services and government, generally, the challenges of advocacy and budgeting and those kinds of things. But so many of you have been so helpful to me, and I really, really appreciate it. Not only because I get lost and people can tell that I don't know where I'm going despite the badge, but also because you're helping me understand what it's like on the day-to-day basis. The rounding has been really, really insightful. The fact that, sometimes the medicine is the easiest part of what we do. It's the alcoholism, the addiction, the homelessness, the financial challenges, the family issues that make your jobs so hard and so complicated. And so that's been really helpful for me to understand the broad picture of what's going on, and particularly as we think about growth and those kinds of things, which we're going to talk more about. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Happy to be here and excited to be a part of Team RVH.
Good, thank you. No worry,
Isn't there like an applause
That was
sign?
an easy question, yeah.
That's amazing, thank you.
It is like Ellen DeGeneres, it is. We have to get a catchy name. So having previously worked at the town of Innisfil, I know you worked closely with the RVH team when they were first working on the land acquiring there. You have a great understanding of our future plans, and so we knew you were a great fit for us to chart the course over the next 20 years. So what are some of the projects that you're working on right now?
Yeah, so I'm really, really blessed to be a part of the corporate communications team. And they remind me every day. No.
How lucky you are to work with them.
They are amazing. And actually, I didn't even figure that out at first. You told me when I was rounding, you were like, this comms team is amazing. You know, you're so lucky to be a part of it. And I do feel lucky to be a part of it. So with the comms team, who have, as you know, just a huge amount of energy, huge, really creative, lots of ideas. We're working on what we're sort of loosely calling Communications 2.0 or Comms 2.0, with the idea that we look again hard at, you know, what channels are we using to communicate? Who are our audiences? How do we understand what you need and when and how you want to receive information? How do we share that with our community and with our partners? And really get really effective, even more effective than we are at communication. So Comms 2.0 is a big part of what I'm working on. We're going to talk a little bit about the strategic plan in a minute. And then the other big piece that I have is the support of our MP2. So how do we, you know, do as much as we can to get everything that we do as seamless as possible, so that when we double in size and we expand into the Innisfil campus, we've got our house in order really, really well. So I'm excited about that growth, managing growth. What does that mean? How do we do things? You know, recognizing that we can always get better, right? And Team RVH is really good at that. So that's what's keeping me busy, other than chauffeuring you around to advocacy meetings.
Good. Keep your priorities straight there.
That's right. Yeah.
So I know that you know that, you know, I think our most important role is really supporting Team RVH and making sure everybody feels passionate and inspired, and a sense of hopefully as much calm as we can provide coming to work every day. So we have been talking a lot about that, and can you share some of the work that's gone into so far about updating our strat plan in that regard to supporting Team RVH?
Yeah, for sure. The MyCare strategy that the Team RVH has, the mission, vision, values, it's very much a part of everything that we do. And you know, sometimes strategic plans are sort of, you know, these fancy booklets that sit on a shelf and nobody knows anything more about them, and you pull them out every 5 years to figure out, you know, what the board is looking for in the next 5 years. But it's clear that over the last 10 years, MyCare has really been embedded into everything that happens here. And that's really awesome. There's a real connection point between what we think is our strategy, our mission, vision, values, and what we do on a day-to-day basis. So we want to hold on to that. I think we want to capture and continue and amplify those things that are working really, really well today. At the same time, when you imagine what healthcare is going to look like 20 years from now, which doesn't, I mean, in some ways it doesn't sound that long, but when you think back 20 years, you know, some of you have explained to me how care has changed in those 20 years, right? We don't do that anymore, and it doesn't take 5 days to recover from that anymore, and you know, those kinds of, the technology is advancing. So if we imagine what the next 20 years will be, and we want you to help us with that process and explain to us, what could, you know, healthcare look like? What should we be watching out for? 3D printing, artificial intelligence, you know, all of this robotics, surgery, interventional radiology that I'm learning more and more about. You know, how do we capture all of that thinking and that opportunity to grasp those advancements in technology and innovation, and then, you know, map out the next 5 years so that we're ready to make the most of those changes that are coming. So excited to sit down with everybody, focus groups, surveys, you know, really strong engagement to hear from you what's possible as we craft out what that next 20-year vision is, and then the 5-year implementation plan.
Good, thank you very much. I know we're really lucky to have you, and it's not just to drive me around, but for all sorts of things that you do. So before we go to our next guest, it's an opportunity for anyone here online to ask a question for Jason, and make sure it's hard. Like, somebody have a really hard question for
Jason. Look at the time, wow.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, you can send it in afterwards and I can read it the next one, but I won't tell them until the very last second. So, okay, so thank you very much, Jason.
Thank you, Gail.
Get off the stage.
Thank you.
So thanks. So in addition to the work we're doing, there's the strat plan and our capital plans. Obviously, and I know the rest of the senior team is really focused on the well-being of Team RVH. The results of the recent employee survey clearly indicated poor mental health and burnout remain serious concerns for many of you. And we've been actively looking for tools that we can provide practical, accessible mental health relief for everybody. So last week, we were lucky enough to host a Happy Brain seminar to learn more about how to incorporate mental health hygiene into our daily lives. So thank you for all of those who were able to attend or watch it online, because it was really short notice. But for now, I'd like to invite Alex Taylor, a psychological safety consultant here at RVH, to speak with us about the seminar, the 30-day challenge, and other supports that RVH offers. So Alex, come on up.
Hey, how are you?
Good to see you. So before we get started, unfortunately, Comms does know that I am also a yoga instructor. Thanks, Donna. I'm going to kill you. Yeah. So, and they want me to do a little box breathing exercise with you. So we're going to take 3 breaths for box breathing, 3 times through, I guess. If you just want to sit back in your chair, let your hands rest in your lap. So for those of you that don't know what box breathing is, we're going to start with breathing in for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, holding at the bottom of that breath for 4, and then we're going to go through that many times for the rest of the time. No. It's going to bring you a sense of calm. This is good for relaxation. Many military outfits do this as well to calm themselves down, and it's also good for before sleep. So just exhaling, getting rid of all the air out of your lungs, and then inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. One last time. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're done. You can return to normal. Good job, everybody. I know the holding the breath out of your lungs is the most uncomfortable part. It takes a few rounds to get used to that. So now that I've calmed everybody down for you, Alex.
Yeah, thank you.
Get everybody relaxed for this interview. Let's start about, you're new to the position. I think you started in November, I think it was. So tell us a little bit about yourself and really what your position, what you're working on.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me here today. As you just mentioned, I'm the psychological safety consultant here at RVH. So my role focuses on staff well-being, staff mental health, and our psychological wellness of the organization as a whole. Previous to my role in this role, I actually did 4.5 years in our security department. During that time, I was really fortunate to do a variety of courses that were geared towards helping others. That coupled with my volunteering, I volunteer with Season Center for Grieving Children outside of here, and then with the Rise Peer Responder program. Really helped build my knowledge, my skills for helping people, and really set me up for this position that I'm into today. I kind of have a really unique role here at RVH. I am the one individual that role specifically focuses on our staff and just our staff, which is a really unique part and a very cool piece to my role. So I kind of call myself kind of the advocate for staff to senior leadership for changes to do with well-being and that kind of part. The other second part of my role is obviously leading our Rise Peer Responder program. I'm very passionate about that. I can't say enough good things about the team that we have and the program that we have here at RVH. So I'm super blessed to be in this role. I'm super fortunate, and I can't thank everybody enough for trusting me to work through this with that. And unlike Jason, I don't personally have kids, but I'm a dog dad, so that keeps me busy in my off time. So yeah, that's I spend a lot of time obviously playing sports, volunteering, and then spending time with family, and my dog keeps me extremely busy on the off days.
Good, that's awesome. Well, I have an affinity for dogs as well, so that's good. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about the Happy Brain Seminar and the 30-day challenge that we just started.
Yeah, absolutely. So the 30-day challenge is new to RVH this year. It started March 1st and it goes till March 31st. This challenge is in partnership with an organization called The Royal. So RVH now has a partnership with them. They are the organization that puts on this challenge. A lot of the challenge, the background work, the framework of mental hygiene is really put together and led by a mental health expert and nurse practitioner, Guillaume Tremblay. We were fortunate enough to have them present twice last week on 2 different seminars, which were absolutely tremendous. Guillaume really delved deep into what mental hygiene is, the scientific background behind it and why it's so important in our everyday life. But more than that, he made it very interactive. And that for me was the biggest piece. He allowed us, ample opportunity to really look at, what techniques might work for us and what might not, and really did a fantastic job of really, honing in on why mental health hygiene is so important. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that you, thanks to our corporate comm team, who's absolutely amazing, has recorded the first session and it's available on YouTube for all our staff. So please do check that out. It can be very helpful. As far as the challenge, I can't speak enough about how great the challenge really is and how beneficial it can be for our staff. Outside of just being something that, we should do, Guillaume really honed in on the fact that mental hygiene, unlike, brushing your teeth and exercise, these are things that are in our community and that we have the guidelines for how much sleep you should have, how much exercise you should have. But there's not much on mental health. And what was really great about the seminar was really focusing on that this should be just as much a part of our day as, brushing our teeth. So the 30-day challenge is essentially implementing mental hygiene for 10 minutes a day, every day for a whole month, with the goal being that you will grow routines and habits that you can take forward. And the benefits of this are astronomical. I can't, stress it enough that by doing these things, you can really better yourself going forward, both at work, both in your personal life. And the benefits are just, I can't say enough good things. So I really hope that, Team RVH does reach out and does join this challenge. I know it started on the 1st, but we still have ample opportunity to join now for the rest of the month. So you can either join by the link that was sent last week in our email to RVH All, or if you go on the Royal main page, you can also join there. So I highly recommend that.
Thanks. It was great. And I think that Guillaume's point that don't wait till there's a problem before you start doing this mental health hygiene like anything else. You don't wait till you have a cavity to start brushing your teeth, or maybe you do, and that's why you started. You need to start right away when times are good so you can do that training with your habits and everything.
Yeah,
so.
And that's such a great point. Actually, my manager just today brought up the fact that, one of the big points was that you don't just take a shower when you fall in mud. You take a shower every day because it's part of our day, and that's the same for our mental health.
Yeah, it was good. It was a great event. And if you watch it, Guillaume actually goes through, like you said, practical speaking about a lot of the suggestions for exercises to do. And they're not long. They're 10 minutes a day and that's it. So it makes a big difference. So you're rightly promoting, and you mentioned the RISE program. I love the shirt. Good job.
Thank you.
So how is the team doing, and how are people calling the RISE line? Is it being used?
Yeah, so the team is amazing. They're doing great. This is probably one of my favorite parts of my job, is being able to be the team lead for the RISE team. I cannot say enough good things about our RISE team, each one of the members that we have. Obviously, as you know, our RISE team is our peer support program that operates 7 days a week, 10 hours a day. It's confidential peer support over the phone for our staff in need. But what's really unique about our program, which I really think speaks volumes about our team, is that none of our responders are being paid. They're all volunteers. And that really, for me, adds a big asset to our program, because they genuinely want to help. They care about our team, and they want to help their fellow colleagues, which, I can't say enough good things about them. We have a very diverse team, which I think is fantastic. We have members from all over the organization, which really, helps when we're on, taking calls and stuff. But for me, it's an honor to lead them. They are great individuals, and I can't speak enough. And I hope some of them get to see today to really see how much I really do appreciate all they do for the team here. I have the utmost respect for each one of our team members, and I'm the one that's truly blessed to lead them. And as far as calls, I've always gone on the notion that if we got one call a year and we helped one staff member, then RISE was worth it. We're fortunate that the call volumes are always increasing. I think that's helping with our getting RISE out there and getting staff comfortable with calling in. So our numbers keep going up. We're about 50 calls at this point, which means we've helped 50 staff members in need, which is really something to be said. And this just keeps increasing as we get more awareness for the need, and that it's okay to reach out for help.
That's awesome. That's great to hear.
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you for leading that. And thanks to all the members that volunteer. Anybody who's out there that volunteering, we really appreciate that. So what are some of the other supports we have in place for Team RVH?
Yeah, so on top of obviously myself and the RISE team, we have spiritual care. So spiritual care, I'm working very closely with spiritual care right now. with their team lead in trying to, align our roles more commonly so it's easier to access. A lot of people have a misconception about spiritual care that it has to be spiritual. It does not. They're there to provide support. They are trained and they will provide individual or group support. So that is a great resource to reach out to. They also have a great spiritual care area. You can go and you can just take 5 minutes away from maybe the stress of work or something that's going on and just take some time for yourself. But you're more than welcome to speak to someone as well. So that's a great resource. They're always available. They also have spiritual care on call overnight. Obviously, I'm part of the occupational health and wellness team, so that is another great resource that our staff have, and I don't know if staff truly realize how great that clinical team is inside there. They have access to all our resources and supports, and they will honestly, if you just needed a little bit of support, they're there for you. Monday through Friday, through the weekend, they are always there to assist us, so please do reach out. If you do need something, whether it be a resource or just someone to talk to, because the clinical staff there, I can't say enough. I'm so blessed to be a part of that team. And then obviously we have our EFAP, so our Employee Family and Assistance Program, and that's just another great resource. These are all free resources that are available to our staff at all times. So I really do advocate for staff. Maybe you're looking for a counselor or something. EFAP is a great resource to reach out to. And if you need any help with that, obviously my role and our occupational health team can assist you with that.
Good. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So any questions for Alex? Anybody have any questions? No hard questions yet? I guess you're saving them all for me after.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Alex. I appreciate everything that you do and look forward to working with you more in this role because well-being is super. I think we had a short discussion in the hall the other day.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very excited about the fact that we have your role in this organization and all the fantastic things we're going to be able to do. So
well, thank you. I'm looking forward to working with you too. Thank you for having me today, everybody.
Thank you very much. So speaking of important people that we deal with in this organization, we do have a special guest with us today. So I'm very happy to introduce Lois Yanatsi, who is an RVH patient and a participant of the Foundation's Keep Life Wild campaign, along with Pam Ross. I know you brought your husband out here with you today too, so that's great. Pam is our foundation, RVH Foundation President and Chief Executive Officer. So can I invite you both to the stage, please? So thank you so much, Lois, for joining us here today. It's a pleasure to have you. And can you tell us a little bit about your patient journey here at RVH?
First of all, I want to thank you. I'm humbled in the presence of all these awesome people, and I hope you realize how truly awesome you are. What you give on a daily basis is just phenomenal. So thank you to all you awesome people for letting me share your day.
Thank you.
And greetings from Midland.
Yes.
Midland's loss is RVH's gain. So greetings.
Thank you. Thank you.
My story at RVH started, well, actually about 9 or 10 years ago. I had knee problems and had 2 knee replacements in 1 year. And my handicap after my knee replacements had gone down in my golf game about 6 strokes.
That's unacceptable.
Yeah, just because of the surgery here at RVH. So my recommendation at the time was, if you want to improve your golf game, give Dr. Delaney a call. Anyway, this time my story here with RVH started probably the first week of December 2020. My journey with cancer started in 1983. It came back in 2000, and it liked me so much it came back again in 2020. It has been a struggle, but that's how it all started. Do you want me to just keep going with my whole story?
Yeah, if you can tell us a little bit about your
sometimes you have to give me a hook.
I'll give you a hook.
Yeah.
Oh, Pam's there to tackle you down off the stage.
I won't do that. I wasn't feeling well. I was at home up in Midland and went to GBJH for Demerge at the insistence of my husband, because I kept thinking it'll go away, it'll get better. So pay attention to your body. Yeah. Anyway, I went to Emerge, and before I left that day, the doctor in Emerge was quite confident my breast cancer had come back again for the 3rd time. I was devastated. I remember saying to him, "You've got to be wrong. You must be wrong." And he's saying, "Well, it could be. We haven't done biopsies or anything," he said, "but I want to refer you down to RVH." And I said, "Great." Of course, we went home and cried together and prayed together, and it was such devastation. Within 2 days, I had a call back from RVH. There was an angel down here somewhere that picked up my referral that very same day and got the ball rolling for my health care. And within a matter of a couple of weeks, all the diagnosis was done, and the plans were made for my treatment.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
It was, and during COVID.
Oh, yeah, that is amazing. Yeah. So I think that inspired you to take this next step that you're sort of promoting today, and you know, keeping care close to home. So and through our Keep Life Well campaign. So why do you feel compelled to be a part of this campaign?
I believe that we all have an obligation to each other. You've heard the expression, I'm sure, that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, in healthcare, it takes a community. It takes a community for healthcare, and for all of us working together. It's not just what doctors and nurses are doing for us, but it's our responsibility as well to do as much as we can for ourselves. And I'm just compelled to get the message out there that cancer doesn't have to be a sentence, it's a word. And to really live each day. Thank you.
Your amazing energy is palpable in this room, and thank you so much for being a part of our campaign and sharing your story with here. It just makes the difference, even for the team, to see the impact they make. Sometimes when in the busyness of a day, so much things are happening for the team here that they don't realize what a big impact they have. So it's really makes a big difference to hear it straight from a patient like yourself. So thank you for that. So thank you. So Pam, how important has it been for your team to capture the patient voice like Lois here in this campaign?
Well, it's that question is so important, Gail. It goes to the very heart of what philanthropy is. People give to people, and you'll notice in the story that Lois told, and thank you for sharing it with us. She never mentioned buildings or equipment. She didn't talk about any of that. She talked about people. When she talked about why she's doing what she's doing, she's talking about people. And so for us, when we think about buildings, we think about more beds, we think about equipment. This is incredibly important to us because it allows all of you to be the very best that you can be and to give the very best possible care that you can. But from the donor's perspective, when they hear a story like Lois's, they think about people. They think about the people who they love the most. And they hear Lois's story and they imagine themselves or someone they love in Lois's situation. And they think about, what is the outcome that I want for the person that I love? And you can't hear me? I was being really heartfelt there. Is this on? It's on. It's on. Okay. I'm very uncomfortable with the microphone like this. If it was bedazzled, I'd be more comfortable. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, next time. So when they think about themselves in the position of someone like Lois, it shows them the power that their giving has to make a profound impact on the life of someone else, whether it's someone they love, whether it's their neighbor. And Lois, you talk about community. People don't give to the foundation, they don't. It is our job to find and tell stories like Lois's to as many people as we can, and make those connections with the community. And we know that telling stories like Lois's is effective. Last year we raised $18 million telling stories like Lois's.
So Pam, what's been your greatest aha moment to date in this journey?
That's really an easy one. When I first joined, so I came here from Toronto. I worked for Sunnybrook for 12 years, a wonderful organization, and needed to learn, just because you know one hospital doesn't mean you know every hospital. And so conversations with people, many conversations. And there was a strong theme that ran through all of those conversations. People love RVH. The community loves RVH. RVH is part of the community. And I'll tell you, I did not hear that when I worked at Sunnybrook. Just an entirely different culture and vibe. And so I continued to have conversations, and that played itself out in every conversation. And then I would ask people internally. I would go on tours and meet with leaders, and I would ask questions like, what's the most exciting thing that you're working on? What is the future in your area? If you could do one thing, what would it be? And I realized that, yes, it is true. Everyone loves RVH. They don't like the ED wait times, fine, but in their gut, they love RVH. But the aha was that they don't even know the half of it. They just don't know the half of it. When patients come through our doors, they're there for a specific thing, and they have their own experience that's limited to whatever care it is that they get. But the things that I learned, there is innovation around every corner here. Of course, we know about the big things and the big programs that we have, but I think about the precision medicine, the minimally invasive work that's being done in cancer, that's being done in cardiac. I think about the extraordinary examples of evidence-based practice that happens across all of our clinical areas. I think about imaging, where these geniuses are combining imaging modalities and medical devices in novel ways to treat things that a decade ago weren't even treatable. So I think about all of these things that I'm just so compelled to tell the story so that people understand really what it means to say that the community loves RVH, like why, tell the why. And with every one of those things that I mentioned and more, look what they do in the NICU with a quarter of the space that they should have. The remarkable work that's being done that we don't even know the half of it. It gives me just such confidence and a little bit of passion. There's a fire in my belly, but it gives me just remarkable confidence that $100 million is nothing compared to what we have the potential of doing when we are able to tell the incredible stories of what's happening here. So my aha moment is, I think, was a really powerful one, and that's exciting.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pam. So what can you tell us about any upcoming campaigns or events, like anything about that's going to be happening in the near future?
Well, the first thing I want to say, because it's the first thing that anyone from Team RVH says to me, is when can I get my sweatshirt? So this is one of our main priorities. Our expertise is not in making and retailing sweatshirts. So we're looking for a partner to do that for us so we can concentrate on what we do best. So we're looking at a partner for doing that. We think that that's, there's just so much benefit to doing that. They're cool. It makes us all part of the gang. We're, you know, we're on the same squad.
The wild gang.
Very well. I mean, look at my boots. We're keeping it wild. So that's the big thing. But you'll also see we're going to be replacing the anniversary banners that are on the outside of the hospital with the campaign brand. We're going to swap out the billboard that's in front of the on Georgian Drive in front of the hospital. You're going to see increased activity digitally. Online fundraising is really, really super key for us. And then one of the biggest initiatives that we are going to be working on is how do we involve all of you in our campaign. About 80% of our donors are past patients or family members of past patients. And whether you realize it or not, everything that you do contributes to the foundation's ability to raise money. The act of philanthropy for a patient is a continuation of their healing. Whether that outcome, and it's the same for the family, whether that outcome was positive or the very worst, and someone has died. An act of philanthropy is part of their grieving process as well. And so I don't know how many times, I think it's impossible for any of you to even count how many times someone has said to you, thank you. What can I do for you? And that is an opportunity, an expression of gratitude that can continue a conversation that can involve the foundation. And helping you to recognize those and what to do when someone says that, but also for you to be a part of the campaign yourself and how that can happen and what that looks like as well. So those are the big things that are coming up.
That's awesome. So does anybody have any questions for Pam or Lois today? So quiet, like we brought you in person to be like a hyper crowd and you're just letting me down.
Who wants a sweatshirt? Okay, so I think that we're gonna do.
Jason and I have some plans for future rolling out of.
Excellent. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, I want to thank you, Lois, for sharing with us today. It's not easy to share such a personal story, but it meant a lot. So thank you so much for doing that and being part of the Team RVH today. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thanks, Larry, for coming along for the journey with her. I discovered that only the speakers actually sit in the first row. Only the guests sit in the first rows. Nobody else is brave enough to sit in the first row. So thank you. Thanks everybody for joining today. I'm going to take a moment because there were some questions online, I think, Donna? So Donna's just going to tell me what some of those questions are and we'll see if we can answer them.
Thank you, Gail.
You're welcome.
So we have the first question is from Tara. She would like to know, I would like to ask you if we could build a gated cage bike locking space for staff. I recently moved here. Sorry, this is from Tom. Tara's been here a long time. This is Tom. I've recently moved here and I'm worried my bike will get stolen if not in a gated area. Can you address that, please, Gail?
Sure. I think that's a great idea. As you know, we have a bit of a parking issue here at RVH. So any opportunity to actually find ways to encourage you feel more comfortable to take your bike to work, I think that's a great idea. So yeah, we will actually discuss that as a senior team and see where we can fit something like that in on the capital process. I think it would be a great idea for RVH. Thanks for that.
It's from Tom. Now, Tara has a question. I'm curious if there will be an update or change to seating restrictions anytime soon. It can be quite challenging some days to find a place to eat lunch, and that's from a dietitian, so we have to take that seriously.
Yeah, or maybe they just want a place to sit. I am happy to say, just as a preliminary teaser, that we will be releasing revised guidelines and protocols the week of March 27th. So I've been working with IPAC and workplace safety to review the changes that are coming up and things that we can change here to provide for that accommodation. So we'll be rolling out some education in the near future. So you should see something coming out, and the week of the 27th. In addition to that, Public Health Ontario is supposed to be sometime in April, one of those vague government announcements of dates, to come up with revised guidelines. So we expect hopefully even more reductions in universal masking, but we at RVH are going to try to bring some congruency with what's happening in the rest of the world and what's happening in hospital where it's safe to deal with some of those base constraint issues. So not much longer, get through the March break, and then you'll see the education coming out about updating about the new masking policies, and then we'll have hopefully addressed that. Thanks, Donna. Any other questions? 2 more questions?
2 online questions.
See, the online people are beating all of you.
I know. They have an advantage. It's anonymous. So.
I will close my eyes if somebody wants to stand at the mic here.
I think the first one is for Pam. So Pam, we have someone saying RVH 50/50 seems like a huge success for fundraising. And I know Sally's here too, so I don't know who wants to answer, but has there been any consideration given to a strategy like Princess Margaret Home Lottery or anything to go bigger? So I know Sally Ranger's in the audience as well, but Pam's here too. So I don't know who wants to answer. You'll take it, Pam? Yeah, sure. There you go.
I buy tickets to that lottery, I'm not going to lie, but I...
Traitor.
What's that?
I said traitor.
No, I want one of those houses. Like, who doesn't? Come on. So those programs have been going for years and years and years, and they are very expensive, and they take a huge amount of capacity. That said, at least certainly for Princess Margaret, it has raised millions and millions and millions of dollars specifically for research. So those kinds of things we will always consider. But I think that for us, that will be in, a little bit of time. There are things that we need to do, and we need to do them well before we expand into those things. But it is something to be considered for the future.
Thanks, Pam.
Yeah.
Everybody should buy. Yeah. But still buy your community 50/50 tickets.
Perfect. And we have one more. Let me just go back here.
Run fast.
I'm going. So we have one more question, Gail. This one's for you. Someone is wondering, what is RVH doing to advocate for nurses and staff for higher pay during challenging times of high inflation? And we know you had mentioned a lot of government advocacy that you're doing, but they're wondering if there's anything specific that we're working on.
Anything specific? I think, the whole time Bill 124 was introduced, you can be assured that hospitals and the Ontario Hospital Association were speaking against that because of the problems that it caused. So we continue to advocate, I would say in general, through the Ontario Hospital Association. We talk about, addressing wages and addressing the issues now about holding the wages during Bill 124. And some equalization to sort of stop employees feel compelled to work in different industries because the pay is so different between industries. So we do talk about those things. And we also, one of the things we're never in favor of is, and it may sound terrible, I'm sorry if it does, but when they introduced temporary wage increases for certain groups, because it just caused so much inequity across, and all the hospital leadership always try to say it's either all or nothing. Don't introduce something unless you're going to apply it to all employees, because we all contribute to the patient experience regardless of what your role is, and to bring that divisiveness into the organization that if you're in X role, then it counts for you. If you're in this role, then you don't count. Or if you're doing the same role but you're different designations, it doesn't count. caused so many additional problems to morale and workplace that so we would never be advocating for something that was just towards one employee group because of that, because of, you know, not trying to say that only one group's valuable and the rest are not, but also saying that, yes, they need to address wages. We need to attract individuals to the field and also address, you know, you'll know about the Learn and Stay grant that's been announced for students in certain programs. Nursing is one of them. But Georgian College wasn't included in the grant for students to get free tuition to stay and work here after. So we are advocating for those types of things as well, along with all the other hospitals in Simcoe County to say Georgian College needs to be included so that we have, you know, these specialty where we're experiencing a lot of shortage included. So that people are actually staying here for 2 years as well post their graduation. So we are advocating where we are. The OHA continues to advocate. We spoke against Bill 124 the whole time. So hopefully, unfortunately, a lot of these things we find out about it after it's announced, like you do on the news, and then try to deal with the aftermath of that. So going forward, in general, I say we do talk about the shortages and how we need to attract people into these professions, and wages is one aspect of how we do that. So yes, hopefully that helps. Hopefully answer the question. Good. Okay. So no other questions from anybody? Nobody's going to be brave because it just takes a first person to ask a question to be brave enough, and then others will ask. Okay, there's a hand.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Run before they change their mind.
Thank you. First of all, I have to compliment Gail. My name is Sandy Richmond, one of the Blue Brigade's members, approximately 28 years. I actually started over in the old hospital, and the joke was if you were at the old RVH, they weren't going to bring the elevators with them too. I wrote a letter to Gail, an email about when the volunteers were coming back, and I expected just a form letter. And I got a 3-paragraph reply back about, you know, I know it's hard to get us back, but one thing I'm thinking about is as we come back, you can see more jackets down in the volunteer area. And I had to drive around a bit today because we've lost our parking spot. Is there plans to expand for as volunteers do come back, especially the way we used to have it before, that it was closed for some of the elderly people to walk in? Is there a plan for redoing the parking plan, especially for the volunteers? And I do appreciate the fact that we are coded and we can go into the general parking, but I know it was taken over by another facility taking our parking spot, but I can see as it expands, and that's always been a bugbear for volunteers, is especially when we used to, you people don't realize that when we had the 12 o'clock shift changeover to try to find a parking spot, even in the old spot type of thing.
Yeah.
So I know it's a minor thing, but that's a positive thing that starts somebody off in their day coming in if they didn't have to struggle. So just a thought.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. Parking is probably the largest irritant for everybody here. But definitely we had those conversations. I would say, you know, planning brought it up and finance brought it up when we brought the volunteers back, that we had turned the parking lot into a PRU. So that was an issue. So it is something we try to figure out how we're going to resolve that. We do have a couple of plans going on. I know Wendy's team in planning is trying to investigate different options. But yes, I hear you. You know, we're asking our volunteers, most who are elderly, having to travel long distances, coming here on their own time to try to get into the building. So we do have to find a solution for that. We do have longer term plans as part of our MP2, but we need to figure out some short and medium term plans for volunteers and staff to be able to park at the facility. So thank you. Thank you for being the bravest to ask the first question. Any other questions? Oh, so disappointing. Yes, Larry. Oh, she's bringing a mic for you. Oh, she's got it there. Yeah. Getting exercise today.
I have more of a statement than a question. with being the spouse of a cancer patient from this hospital, you can even get jealous of the way she thinks of everybody here. It's like family to her.
They've replaced you.
She's just so proud of all of you for what you do for her and everyone else. And I've got to know just a few of her team, but they're just great people, just great people. And thank you. And just one other question. What's for dinner? Thank you.
Oh, see, she's still making dinner for you. At least you're getting that. Thank you, Larry. So just to wrap it up then, for those of you who are still watching online or watching the recording in the near future, you can send us your first and last name to contest@rvh.on.ca for a chance to win a $15 gift card. And then before I let you go, those of you here in person, grab your tickets that you received when you came in today. And I'm going to ask Lois if you don't mind helping to come back up, and you're going to draw the winning ticket today. So we're enticing you to come more to these in-person and online by prizes.
Oh, this is exciting.
Is it? Oh, it might be a Keep Life
Here it
Wild
is.
sweatshirt.
Okay. 370. Oh, sorry. Let's do the end.
Oh.
013. 013.
013. I don't know. That seems rigged. I don't know. Yes. Congratulations. Okay, so thank you to everybody for coming out today. It was great to see so many people here, and yeah, be on the lookout for updated masking protocols the week of the 27th. So it's going to be exciting times here at RVH. Go team!